So today I'm going to show you how to make the winter stroll hat that I shared on the blog not too long ago. So this is the finished piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you step by step how to make the band and then the rest of the hat, and then sew the pom on. You can make your own, but I love these furry ones, so that's what I use. We're going to be using Lion Brand Heartland. That's what I use. You can use any weight 4, but this stuff is so nice. It's really soft. It's got a good texture. I love the colors that it comes in. And then you're going to need a 4mm and a 5mm hook. You can use the 4 all the way around if you'd like. I like to use the 4 on the band, make it a little tighter so it stays on my head, and then use 5 on the top because it gives it a little more leeway, a little more floof, kind of like a beanie look. So if you like it a little tighter, you can use the 4 all the way around. Not a whole lot of difference, but it does give some. So we're going to get started. We're going to start with the band. This hat does come in small, medium, and large, but it's super easy to size up. The pattern works in 2, so just keep that in mind if you want to make it larger or smaller. All right, so starting with your 4mm hook, we're going to do the band. And now this is going to be chain 11 to start, and that's no matter what your size, because you're going to increase your rows, not the width, because we're going to crochet the width and then go around. So this will be the same regardless of the size you're doing. So we're going to chain 11. So 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we've got our starting chain, and then we're going to do half double crochets. So this first row is just going to be a regular half double crochet. You're going to do it the 3rd chain from your hook, and then in each one across. So you'll have that, and then this piece here, your chain there, is going to count as a stitch. So we'll have 10 across. So we'll do our half doubles on each one. I have to say that the starting row is always my least favorite because I feel like I can't go as fast as I'd like. So we'll get each one across here. And then every row from here on, we're going to be working in the back loop. And now what the back loop is, before we get there, I'll give you a little explanation, is it is working in just one of the V's. So we're only going to be working in one moving on here, and that's going to give our band a ribbed look. Last one. All right, so we've got our first row, and now we're going to turn, chain 1, and then you're going to do, that will be your first, so you'll skip that, that chain counts, and then back loop in each one across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you got 9 if you include that first chain. And then in this, the bottom chain from the row before, we're just going to go through both. So on the ends, you'll go through both, and you can kind of see that ribbed look coming along. And we're going to keep doing this. So for the small, it's 52 rows. For the medium, it's 56. And for the large, it's 60. You can increase and decrease depending on how big you want it. What I usually do is I just try it on my head to see if it's kind of the tightness I'd like, and go from there. So I'm going to get the band done, continuing that. I'll show you one more row, and then we'll have everyone work up to that, and then we'll start on the beanie part of the hat. So again, chain 1, back loop. Oops, and I didn't yarn over. Got to do that. So we're doing half double crochets all the way across. And now we're in the back again, so we're getting that ribbed look. Whoops. There we go. Then this very last one, we're going to go through both in that chain. And there we go, and you can see you've kind of got that rib pattern going. So we're going to keep going there. I'm going to do my 52 rows, and then if you want to do as many rows as you're doing. All right, so we finished. We've got 52 rows for the small, because that's what I'm doing. and you see the nice rib texture of the band. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect it so that it's round, and then our next rows will be working that way. So what I'm going to do is this is where I left off. This is where I would have been working back across. So we're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to seam it together by doing slip stitches. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in this first one and the very first one of your bottom row. So you can see you've got the base of that first row, and then pull the yarn through both and through the one on your hook. So through both of the V's, and then through the bottom of your first row, yarn over, pull through both, and then pull through the one on your hook. And you're going to do that across, and that'll seam it together, and then we'll start our next row. So do not finish off at this point. Get it to the end, and then we'll jump back in and I'll show you how to do the remaining part of the hat. All right, so now we've got our band seamed together, so it's one piece. So what we're going to do is now I'm going to switch from the 4, and I'm going to start using a 5mm hook. So you could keep going with the 4 if you want it tighter. I like to have a little more give on there, so I'm going to switch up to the 5, but you can with the 4. It's going to be a small difference, but there will be a difference in it. I would recommend keeping the band tighter and then using the 5, the way the pattern is written, but you can do what you would like. Usually what I do here is I like this seam better, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it around and work on this side, just because I think that looks just a little nicer there. So here is my starting loop. And now we're not going to finish off. We're just going to keep working with that loop around. So when you're looking at, so now we're working in the side of the hat. So now you're going to see you've got each of your rows, and each row is going to count as one stitch. So you're working on the side of them, but it's easy to keep track of because each row is going to be one row from the before if you were working in a standard row. So what we're going to do is we're going to do half double crochets to start with, and we're going to be increasing from the band. So we're going to increase, we're going to do 2 half double crochets in 2 stitches, and then 2 in 1 stitch. So I'll show you here what I mean. So you're going to chain 1, and then this is my first row, right, from the row before. So it's one chain from before, and you can work right into it. I tend to stitch tighter, so this is going to be a tricky first row for me, but then do 1 half double crochet there, and then this is your next row. So that's going to be your next stitch. 1 half double crochet there, and then here's our next row from before, so that'll be our next stitch. Now we're going to do 2 half double crochets in that one, so it'll be like increasing here. So we're going to go through 1 and 2. So you can see there, you've got the start of it. It'll work out when you start pulling it together. So then here's my next one. We're going to do 1 half double crochet there. Here's my next row, so that's my next stitch. That's going to be a 1 half double crochet, and then this is my next one. That one is going to have 2 because we're increasing by 2. So 2 half double crochets in 2 rows, and then 2 in the next. So we'll do that all the way around. All right, so we've got our first row of half doubles done, and now what I'm going to do is, so you slip stitch here to join, and then what the next 2 rows are, they're going to be rows of half double crochets, but we're going to work in the 3rd loop, which is, so if you look at your stitches here at the top, you've got your V, but actually there's an extra loop here on the back of every one. So you're going to crochet into that and skip the 2 on top. And what that does is it just pushes these V's on the front and kind of gives it a little design. So what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to half double in the back loop of each one. So that loop there, so you can see my 2 here. And we'll do it again on this next one. So we've got the 2 in front, and then right behind it is the back loop. And then you can see the V's are sticking out in front, so it's going to create like a nice little design. So we're going to have 2 rows of that here. Oops. Doing this all the way around for the next 2 rows. So when you get all the way around, you're gonna slip stitch there and then do another row, and then I'll show you the rest of the pattern here. So you'll have 2 rows of these V's facing the front. So we've got our 2 rows of half double crochets in the 3rd loop, so you can see our nice little pattern design we've got there. So the next row, what we're going to do is we are going to chain 2 to start, and then we're going to half double crochet 2 together. So you're going to yarn over and go in the first loop, yarn over and pull through, and then you're going to yarn over and go through the second space, yarn over and pull through, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through everything. So it should look like this. And then you chain 1, and then we're going to do that again in the next 2. So yarn over, insert into your space, yarn over again and pull through, so you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, go into that next space, yarn over and pull through, and now you'll have 5 on your loop, and then you yarn over and pull through all 5. And we're going to do this, and then chain 1 here, all the way around. So one more time here, yarn over into the first one, yarn over and pull through, 3 on there, yarn over into the second one, yarn over, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pull through all 5. Just like that, chain 1, and we'll keep doing that all the way around, and then I'll show you the next row. Alright, so we finished our row of the double crochet 2 together. You're going to end with the chain 1, and then you're going to slip stitch to start. And this next row is going to be repeating single crochet, chain 1. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with a chain 1, and then you're going to single crochet in your first one with the chain, so the one you're slip stitched into. 1, and then another single crochet there, okay, and then you're going to chain 1. That's the only place we're going to do 2 in a row, is just to start. So chain 1, we're going to skip this one, and then we're going to single crochet in the next, and then we're going to chain 1 again. We're going to skip this next one, and then we're going to single crochet in the next, and we're going to keep doing that all the way around. So chain 1, skip that one, single crochet in the next. So we're going to do that all the way around, and then the next row is going to be a repeat of the double crochet together again, and then we're going to do some half double crochets, and we're going to repeat the back loop half doubles to get that look again. So finish this row, and then we'll jump in and I'll show you how to do the double crochets into this row. So we've got our row of single crochets and chain 1s on top of our double crochet 2 together, and now we're going to do the double crochet 2 together stitch again on the next row. So we're going to do the same thing that we did on the row before. That was the same. So we're going to chain 2, and then in the single crochet space and the chain space, we're going to, again the double crochet 2 together is yarn over, put your hook through, yarn over again and pull through, so you've got 3 on there, and then yarn over in the chain space, pull through, and then you've got 5, yarn over and then pull through all 5, and then you're going to single crochet and continue to do that all the way around. So we're going to do that for this next row, and then we're going to do a row of half double crochets, and then we're going to repeat what we've just done for the next group of rows. Alright, so we've got our second row of the half double crochet 2 together. What we're going to do now is a repeat of what we've just done. So the next row, you're going to half double crochet because we're going to need those so that we can do our back loop only. Again, you're not going to be able to do it into this row, so we're going to need to do a row of half double crochets. And what you're going to do is you're going to do that in each one. So each double crochet 2 together and then each chain. So you're going to do 1 in each all the way around, starting with a chain 1. And then we're going to do our half doubles in each one around. And then you're going to do a repeat, starting with where we were when we did 2 half double crochets in back loop only, another row of the double crochet 2 together, a single crochet in the chain, and then another of the double crochet together. And at that point, I'll check back in, so you should have 2 identical rows. And then we're going to do a decrease row for the top of the hat. So repeat what we've just done here, starting with your row of half double crochets, and then we'll check back in. So we are back, and you can see that I've got a good chunk of the hat done. So what we do here is we're repeating the same group of pattern 3 times, but the third time we do it, the single crochet is a little different. So we do the half double crochet and then 2 rows of the half double crochet in the third loop, and then the double crochet 2 together, single crochet, double crochet 2 together. So that's one chunk. Then we did it again. And then what I've gotten started here is I did another half double crochet row, the 2 half double crochet in the third loop, and then I've got my 1 row of double crochet 2 together with the chain. This next row is going to be the same, except we're not going to chain in between our single crochets because that's going to decrease a little bit so it starts to form into be a hat. So what you're going to do is very similar to the other ones. You're going to chain 1, and then in the same space you're going to single crochet, and then you're going to single crochet here. And now typically in the last 2 rows what you do is you chain 1 and skip this space. What we're going to do is we're still going to skip this space, but we're not chaining 1. So this is going to decrease. So single crochet, skip 1, single crochet, skip 1, single crochet. So we're going to do that all the way around. And then in your next row, you're going to do the same thing that you typically would. It's just going to be smaller. So you would do your double crochet 2 together and the chain. And that'll be the last row. So we're going to do that here, and then I'll show you how to seal up the top of the hat and put the pom on. All right, so we've done our last row, and you can see it's starting to kind of curve in there at the top, which is what we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish off, and you want to leave a long tail because we're going to use that tail to sew on our pom. So when picking out a pom, or if you're making your own, make sure you have some sort of tail. I like these from Joann's, and the link is in the post because they do have this. Plus they're nice and poofy and fuzzy, and I like that, but this is nice for attaching it. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll start by finishing off here. So I'm going to cut that really long tail and finish it off. And then what we're going to do is you're going to need your yarn needle, and we are going to kind of cinch it closed, and then we're going to put the pom and finish it all off on the inside. So what you're going to want to do is get your needle threaded. Can't do that on screen, I'm not good enough. So get it like that, and then how I do it is I go in and out and just do like a cinch. So in each one like this, and cinch it closed. Kind of weaving in and out. And you can tell if you start to pull, it'll start to cinch for you. And now this part too is going to be kind of hidden under your pom. It'll kind of create like a little, can't think of the word, bump like that, kind of as you're going. So in and out all the way around. Just like this. I like to kind of pull it as I go. That way it's not as much of a tail hanging out, but you can do it either way. And you can kind of tell where you started because obviously this is all cinched and this isn't, so that's how far I've got to go. If you do extra, it's not going to hurt anything. All right, so we're going to keep going. We'll get that all cinched out. You can hear Finley kind of huffing and puffing in the window. There's probably a squirrel in the yard. So if you're wondering what that is, it's probably Finley. Okay, so you pull that tight and it's going to cinch it, and you've kind of got that form of the hat there. And what I like to do to make sure it's extra secure is I just kind of cinch through like this to make sure that it gets pulled through real tight. And like I said, this is kind of hidden, and I pull through like that just to get it nice and tight. And then I am going to knot it here before I go through on the inside, just because I like to make sure things are really, really secure. I don't want to, like if I'm washing the hat, I don't want my pom-pom and the top of my hat to open up on me. So I'm going to go through it kind of like that a few times just to make sure it's extra secure. So there you've got the top of the hat. That's what it looks like without the pom. And then what I do, because you can still see the hole at the top, and you've got your pom-pom. So what I like to do is I put the string through that, or the yarn, not string, and then I put my hook back in through the hole. So you can kind of tell where the hole is where it all meets. I like to just have like a little bit of space, so like right there where it meets, and I'm going to stick my needle in there and pull it through, and it'll pull through the string, if not a little bit, and then you can like kind of pull it the rest of the way. So on the inside you can kind of see it's coming through. So then what I do is I get my needle in there and I pull it like that, and now the pom is secure. So then I do a few different things on the inside. This is total preference, but to secure it, I tie these together. So I take my yarn that I just pulled through with this looped in it, and I tie these into a couple knots. Again, totally your preference, but I think this just makes sure it's really secure on there instead. And I don't want mine, I mean, it's gonna bobble a little bit, but it's more secure than if you were just to leave that loose. I did try it the other way. I think this is the better of the two. And now, if you don't like this sticking out like that, what I do is I kind of weave it in. So I just go through my loops like this, and I kind of stitch it in around it just to kind of hide that. I made a bunch of these for gifts for Christmas, so I figured since we were giving them away, I didn't want to leave that in there. If it's just for yourself and you don't care, it doesn't really matter if this is hidden or not. But that's what I would do. I would keep going around it until it's kind of built into my stitches, and you've got your winter stroll beanie. Then you finish it off and you are done. Thanks for watching.